Hey folks, Quilly18 here, and welcome to another episode of Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4 as Italy. We are on Elite difficulty. This is episode 2. We still haven't unpaused yet. I promise we'll probably unpause this episode. Actually, probably fairly early on. I don't know. We're ready to unleash in Ethiopia over here. We've got everything set up. We're just going to deal with a few more of these buttons over here, in particular our factories. Let's talk about our factory situation as Italy here. It says here we got 50 factories, but this includes dockyards, so really we have 39 factories. We currently require 25% of our total number of factories to produce consumer goods, which means 9 of our civilian factories are used for consumer goods, which only leaves us 11, which is really slow at the start of the game. Our industrial might is pretty weak ass. So we're going to build more civilian factories. I'm going to max queue civilian factories in our most infrastructure-y kind of areas. I'm also going to go and queue up a maximum number of them over here in Emilia-Romagna. There's a really good chance we're also maybe going to max them out in Abruzzo, just to really get some basic infantry going, and then after that we'll switch over to military factories. Not to mention some oil. I haven't really talked about fuel. I don't think I talked about fuel in the last episode. Our fuel production is crap. We produce 48 fuel per day, and if we had everything operating, all of our ships, all of our planes, we'd consume 10,000 per day. We could trade for a little bit more oil to convert into fuel, but the conversion rate's not good. I feel like it's one oil can be converted to 8 fuel per day. Is there somewhere that lets our consumption stat or conversion stat? Actually, I don't know if it's listed anywhere in the game. I would hope that it would be. But anyway, and of course we can trade 1 civilian factory for 8 units of oil, say from the Soviet Union over here. But that's not going to generate that much oil, and right now we need all of our civilian factories. So we're going to have to operate, despite the fact that we have this big-ass navy, quite a sizable one. We have, I think, 150 ships at the start. Yep. France has got, less than us. United Kingdom has more, but it's not like, yeah, I mean, it's, about 2.5 times, or 1.5 times more than us. Same thing with the US, but that's not, like, that out of whack. And the UK's got to, like, control territory all over. So Italy does have a fairly impressive navy, and yet, like, what's the point if we don't have the gas for it? So we'll need to up our fuel production. We'll need to up how much oil we've got. We do have national focuses for that. Prospect for oil, Libyan refineries, that helps a lot, and we'll have to do some research for it. But early on, we're not going to have our ships be active. Anyway, all that to say, I don't want to trade away my civilian factories. Let's talk about our military factories over here. This is what we're currently producing with our military factories. We can check our logistics screen here. We can see we start the game with a shortfall of infantry equipment and a little bit of support equipment. We're going to make a few adjustments over here. I'm going to produce tanks for now, but I don't know what we're going to do with our tank divisions long term because, well, once we get some fuel kicking in, it's going to be okay. And maybe once we can license production, we can build some more tanks. We'll keep producing some of these L3 light tanks for now, but at some point we might just decide to say, listen, no more. We also got 2 lines of motorized here. This is more than I usually build for. You need to motorize for some of your support divisions, like the field hospitals, for example. So you need some, but motorized infantry isn't much better than regular infantry. They're certainly faster. I think they move at a 10 instead of 4 kilometers an hour. We can talk about that a little bit later when we go and redesign some of our divisions. You can see our so-called fast armor isn't that fast. Infantry moves at 4 kilometers. This moves at 6.4, mostly because that's our cavalry speed. And I don't know why it's not in the tooltip. I don't know why it's not listed in the tooltip. You could confirm the speed if we go and remove all the cavalry, for example. You can see our speed will go up to 10. And I believe it's the light tank. Yeah, the light tank moves at a 10. These motorized infantry move at a 12. The next levels of light tanks, so if we were to research light tank, the L6 over here, you can see its speed goes up to 12. So it now all of a sudden matches the motorized. So you could, at that point, redesign your tank divisions to maybe be pure motorized and light tanks and go for speed. Because the whole thing with light tanks is they're fast and they're great for doing things like surrounds or quickly pushing into territory. So if they're being slowed down by cavalry, it's way less impressive. I mean, yeah, again, they're still faster than leg infantry, but not that much faster. So I don't know. We do definitely need more infantry equipment, which we're going to do, but we also need artillery. For some reason, we don't start with a line of artillery being produced, and we do need some artillery for our mountain divisions. Our mountaineers do have a support artillery put in. And of course, we just want artillery in general. So we're going to want more of that. I think for now, I have to start with only one line. And that'll have to be that. And mostly what I'm going to do is I'm going to get something like 10 lines of infantry equipment. Then I'm going to come back and do that. We're going to get more support equipment because we need to add some more support companies to our templates. So we're going to need to start adding a little bit of that up. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for some towed artillery in there. I'm also going to add a production line for fighters. I'm not going to assign a factory to it right now, but this way, when I research my fighter tech, I'll be reminded that I need to go and make a bit of a change over here. So I'll put the fighters above the close air support. Okay, that's that. Now, I'm not going to run a national focus right now, and the reason is kind of twofold. One, it would be nice to get, if we're going to go communist, let's go communist as quickly as possible. Get this guy as early as possible. But the big thing is, I want to fabricate a claim on Austria as quickly as possible. It says we need 1 political power, but in fact, we need, I think, 47 is what we're going to need over here. So we're sort of looking to save up for that. Can I unpause the game? I think I can unpause the game, you guys. So we're going to start battling down here in Ethiopia. Again, you can save a lot of time with some of these things if you do micro your battles a little bit, move some people around, and various things like that. Close air support is there. Actually, where's our close air support? Two of the combats should be supported by air support here. Like, we have air superiority everywhere, and they have no commander anywhere. Okay, there's one. Because I think each air wing, there we go, can support 1 combat. So we have 3 combats over here, so 1 will not get the close air support, but that's going to have to be okay. So our ships aren't moving, mostly because we're trying to save fuel. We don't got much. We need some for our planes and our tanks. There's a very good chance we hit 0 fuel here in this combat. I know it says 151 days, and we don't want this war to go that long, but the fuel stats can change a fair bit. We'll see. Now, here are tanks. What I'd like, I don't know if no, I can't give you manual commands yet. Oh, decisions available. Right, we need to turn off a bunch of these. I never really want to do propaganda. It's expensive, and generally speaking, thank you, phone, for giving me a buzz. What's this? Let me turn this off. Sorry about that. Flight mode. Excellent. War support, even though it's not super high right now, I find that over the course of a Hearts of Iron 4 game, your war support will generally just hit 100% and stay there and not really be an issue. So I don't really feel like you ever need to boost this up directly. Maybe early on it would be kind of nice, but I don't think it matters too much. Stability is a whole other thing, though. And we may need to give this a little boost. Right now, it's especially low because we're at war. So we may want to do, for example, at some point, improved worker conditions. It is 100 political power. And while it's running, your factory output drops by 10%, which is brutal. But in the meantime, your stability is going to increase. So it's 0.5 per week. It's 180 days. 180 divided by 7 is 25 weeks. And it's a half a point per week. So we're going to get 12 or 13 points of stability, which is fairly sizable. I'm going to turn this off for now so we don't get any alerts, but we may do it. We also don't care about any of these political activities, although at some point we may. I also don't particularly care for industrial land appropriation. An extra building slot is, I guess, nice, but I don't like the cost of the war support and stability. So I don't want any alerts about this, or war bonds, or emergency factory conversions. Let's talk about these naval treaties, which is why I open this up. Right now, we are signatory, apparently, to the London Naval Treaty over here, which limits the size of the ships we can build. Also, over here, it implies that if we went above 50% of Britain in capital ship strength, that might be a no-no. Now, the limitations here, so let's say, look, a heavy ship, right? Our battleships, for example, can't cost more than 10,000 production. If we went into production and went over here, build ships, and took a look at one of our battleships, like the Littorio, over here, 11,000. We're not allowed to build this right now. Oh, we better get out of this treaty as soon as possible. Do we, though? Because here's the thing. We actually have 4 battleships in our queue already. These are the Contes and the Littorios, both of which are over the limit of what we are allowed to build, but they're in the queue and they're being built already. The sense I'm getting is that as long as the ships are already in the queue, they're fine. So I'm not going to worry. At some point, we'll want to leave the treaty, or I think the treaty will just sort of dissolve itself over time. But I don't think we have to spend the political power right now to do that. I will just go and make sure with these ships that we've just got, like, this is actually adding more shipyards right now, but it'll trickle down and do that. I do want to add convoys with one over here. I don't need to assign it, but I like to have that being built constantly. And And what's funny to me is, you know, playing in naval power, I'm going to research all the naval stuff. I'm going to play all sorts of time in the ship designer over here to do some tweaks and variants. Well, it starts off, we've got like years worth of production already queued up for our ships, and they're fine. I'm going to leave them in there, especially since they've got partial research. The one thing we could consider dropping, honestly, is we could consider dropping a couple of battleships, because it's not like they're that far progressed. But by leaving them in here, we can sort of take advantage of the treaty to still build these. I don't know. So I'm not going to leave or cheat on the treaty at this time. I'm going to save all our political power because I need 47 points to fabricate a war goal in Austria. So I'm going to try to keep an eye on this, and I'll probably miss it and overshoot because I'll be distracted somewhere else, because that's normally what happens. Where are those tanks? There they are. Maybe, actually, shouldn't have put... Nah, it's fine. As I said, shouldn't have put you in the army. I could have done an own thing, because what I really want with these guys, once they land, come over here. You're going to help out in this attack that way. Although you don't have any org right now. Yeah, you'll be okay. Because what I want to do is I regard about Addis Ababa as quickly as possible. Although, typically the last thing to fall is Gondar here. So you're going to go there. We're going to make sure to queue that move in. And then you're helping out in a few different ways. Yeah. All right, we'll do that. Because we do need all 3 victory points to be able to end the war in Ethiopia. What's my political power? 43, 45. So yeah, justify war goal. So it doesn't matter which one we do. It generates exactly the same amount of war exhaustion, or sorry, world tension, and takes the same amount of time and the same amount of cost. It does matter what you justify in if you're going to be in a war against a country while you have allies like a faction. Having claims like a justified war goal like this means, I believe it's really expensive for other nations to take that in a peace deal, or at least the AI like weighs against it. But here it doesn't matter. We can do anything. I'll grab Tyrol because it's right there. We'll unpause. As soon as the day ticks, I think we'll have enough. The window doesn't update. Oh, actually, it really doesn't update. See, like, if I do this, there you go. That refreshes it. I don't know. Maybe we could have started a whole day sooner. Still going to take a while to get there. The 22nd of September. Fighting the Alps right before the start of winter. This sounds like a brilliant move, you guys. Why do we want to declare war on Austria? Well, first of all, I mean, we want in big in Italy, certainly. But the big thing is this. At some point, we want Yugoslavia. Hell, we have a national focus for it. Claims on Yugoslavia. This doesn't actually give us a war goal. It just gives us claims. We then have to generate the war goal afterwards. Yugoslavia starts the game guaranteed by Czechoslovakia. We can't reach Czechoslovakia at the start of the game. Now, you could just wait until... You could join the Axis. You could wait until Germany does the Sudetenland thing. Various things like that. We want to rush it, though. So it means early on we are going to find ourselves in a war against Czechoslovakia. If we don't have Austria, we can't reach them. And what happens is you get in this state where, yeah, okay, Yugoslavia's capitulated. Great. We're still in the war with Czechoslovakia, and at some point they join the Allies. Or at some point they join the Entente with France. And all of a sudden we're fighting France and potentially the UK, depending on how things go. I'd like to avoid that. So by taking Austria, we can set ourselves up to be in a position where we can take out Yugoslavia and Czechoslovakia before they can do that. And we're going to try to rush as much as possible. Anyway, back to unpausing over here. Oh, don't expect a lot of action, my things. There we go. Light tanks. And they're not that fast. And they're not that tanky. But they're still a little bit more than the infantry. Although, going through the mountains, for all I know, they go slower through the mountains than infantry would. But we're still going to use them to try to get into Addis Ababa as quickly as possible. And yeah, then Gondar calls for aid over here. Well, hopefully not too much, because we're just going to try to take them out as quickly as possible. Although it's certainly taking a while. I have some promotions, I forgot. Now that we have some command power, not tons. We're about charismatic for the division recovery rate. I really like that. And it would be nice, Messe, if he would just leading tanks all the time. We might be able to get like the Panzer leader and all those things. Most likely he's going to get some infantry related promotions. Although again, that's fine because I don't know how tank heavy we're going to be in this run. I'm actually going to leave... Oh, never mind. I was going to leave one of the tanks behind here, but didn't expect someone to actually move into Addis Ababa. It doesn't usually happen. Austrian sovereignty. I need you guys to assist over here, even if because we don't care about this combat so much. All right. Well, I guess Addis Ababa and Gondar is going to fall mostly at the same time. Actually, I can do this. There you go. Accelerate that a little bit. That's going to be fine. Got some planes with air wings without commands, but their air wings back at home. No national focus set. Do I want to set one now? No, because as soon as the war ends, I want to run triumphs in Africa. Okay, there, and wait for it. Come on, get in there. Get in there. You can do it. Get in there. A lot of attrition. Stupid mountains. There we go. That took a long time to walk there. So we're going to take all states. Done and done. Excellent. Okay. So what we can do now is we can just reorganize things. Actually, we'll do that. I'll just rename this to, I don't know, Eastern Front. That's sort of how we're going to look at this. It's going to be fine. I got to reassign the commander over here. It's going to be you, and all the tank divisions are in there with Messe. Again, tanks in quotes. These sort of are our dude for that. Halt everyone's movement. And what we're going to do is we're going to issue an army group frontline over here with the instructions to... we can ignore Linz. Push something like that is going to be the idea. We can run triumphs in Africa. Hooray! Giving us stability and war support. Hooray! And leading to some useful things. So, okay, so because of the timing, we would have nearly finished the Ethiopian war logistics. Nearly, but not quite before the end of the war. Let's reorganize the rest of our stuff here. Let's take all of our planes and get them grouped up. I wish there was a select all button here. Like, I'm not wrong, right? They haven't added one in there at some point, secretly? I don't think so. All right, I'm going to move all my planes to, say, this airport here, because it's got tons of room, and that's going to be okay. Then our Navy, we're going to do something very similar. I'm going to grab all of them. You're going to see our fuel, like, hit 0 in seconds here, as our entire Navy decides to move around. I'm going to go and group them up to, say, Taranta over here, with the size 10 naval base. I don't know if it really matters where we park them, but we're going to get them all in one area so we can do a little bit of organization. We don't need our Navy for the Austrian War. We will want it once we start fighting Yugoslavia, though. But for now, we can just get things in one place. Look at the fuel just drop. So sick. All right, are all our planes here? I think so. And officially make sure that they're not doing anything, just to make sure we're not using any fuel. By the way, I'd love to be exercising my ships right now, because I would love to get some Navy experience. But we ain't got no gas, so we can't do that. All right, all of our planes are in place. We're going to go ahead and just group them for simplicity. Also, for the simplicity of giving orders later, I'm currently going to disband my naval bombers. They don't have any experience, so there's no penalty to disbanding them. The planes are just going to go back into the reserves. No worries. Disbanding these guys, the close air support, would lose them their experience, which would be unfortunate. Not the end of the world, but unfortunate. I don't know, when you divide a wing... also... Oh, I guess not everyone was there yet. There you go. If I grab you and I split you... Okay, they both have that, and if I merge you up... Okay, it is smart and maintains the experience properly. Just want to make sure. Because I end up tweaking my air wings, splitting, reforming them, merging them together a lot. And I wanted to make sure I wasn't losing anything along the way. We're complaining a little bit about some attrition as we're trying to move through the mountains. When you're standing still in the mountains, it's going to be okay. And again, attrition costs us equipment and really nothing else. But we are short on equipment. There, see, we lost a bunch of tanks in that combat as well. We've got a little bit of reinforcements coming in, but it is a slow trickle. Take a look at trade. I mean, we could import chromium to speed things along, but I don't think it's worth sacrificing one of our factories for that. Take a look at our construction. Hey, we got a whole extra one now. We've completed one. Another one's close on its way. And now we wait. We basically have to wait until September with nothing much going on. Did I say nothing much going on? I mean, wait until the Spanish Civil War, which better happen before we start a war with Austria, or... Actually, I'm not sure what we're going to do. I should prepare by having a couple of divisions split off here. Now, if I cared what happened over here... Hey, there we go. If I cared what happened over here, I could send, you know, I don't know, tanks or this or that or whatever. But I don't want to use any more tanks for supplies. I don't want to use any more fuel than I have to. That is that. We're going to go talk to National Spain and say, hey, I'd like to send some volunteers to you. My limit right now, so the number of divisions you have limits how many divisions you can send. You can build a bunch of really lightweight divisions to increase your division count if you want to send more volunteers. But we're going to send our little 2-stack here. We'll ask for permission to send air volunteers. I don't know if we will, but we're going to do that. Having done that, there we go. They accept, which means now, whenever Triumph in Africa finishes, we can support Nationalist Spain. It is very important. If you want to do this, it is very important that you do this before the war ends, because otherwise you can't pursue it. So that's part of the reason that we did the timing the way that we did. Now, National Spain should win. It normally wins. We may help out a little with our things, because I don't think we want you turning communist, even though having an extra communist ally would normally be good. But I want to control this territory, which means they can't be my friends. We're doing everything the hard way here. Sure, you can have docking rights. Mostly, I'm really hoping to end up with the Balearics over here, because the extra air coverage will be pretty valuable. So we're waiting for those troops to arrive. We're waiting for things to fabricate. We're waiting for techs to happen. Fuel. Hey, we're accumulating fuel right now. Like, we're literally not spending a single drop of fuel, and it's still going to take us 5 years to fill our reserves. And again, our reserves can only cover 23 days, of activity. So we're going to get a lot of those pop-up messages over there. There's nothing else I had to do, right? I'm trying to think. I think we're okay. All right, divisions are here. What I'm going to do, I am going to technically make use of you. Let's grab a field marshal. Let's grab field marshal old guy. Do that and that. We're going to try to help take Bilboa over here. And if we send tanks, it might be slightly better to do that. But again, I'm just trying to preserve equipment and stuff. There we go. Germany sent tanks. It's fine. Italians are just here for a good time. All right, we'll hit play. We'll have you try to help take Bilboa, which will cut off the supply of all these troops here, which will help to get bopped, and then all these Nationalist Spain troops will be free to go and help out somewhere else. And that's basically all we need to do. And yeah, as soon as Triumph in Africa done, so let's go up to speed 5. That's going to be okay. Some of our techs will probably finish soon. Oh, not quite yet. Okay, teching is slow. 30% penalty. There we go. Getting some progression here. We could send planes, but Germany probably sent planes. And Spain's got some. So we'll keep hammering here, although attacking into urban stuff is going to be difficult. Triumph in Africa is done. Support Nationalist Spain. See, it's just a plus 15 opinion. It's not significant. But we're going to do it anyway. Political power continues to accrue. Oh, yeah, and we've got our tech coming in. Oops, wrong thing. So, we've got our electronic mechanical engineering. We absolutely want to get mechanical computing next for the research speed discount. We really need those. Second London Naval Treaty has been signed. This will safeguard peace better than any super battleship. It'd be nice if this actually affected world tension, but it don't. So by the way, world tension. Anything that generates world tension will lose 0.1% of its influence every single month. Now, this includes anything that decreases world tension. So, for example, when you peace out, it tends to generate peace, depending on exactly like how you sign things, or it tends to lower tension, but that does decrease over time as well. We are going to be watching that very carefully. So 25% is a magic number. 25% world tension. We didn't cut these guys in half, unfortunately, the way we would have liked, but I guess it's still going to be okay. 25% world tension. Democracies can guarantee other nations. And if France or England decide to guarantee Yugoslavia or Albania, it just gives us a bad time. Remilitarization of the Rhineland boosts world tension some more. It's one of those things. We actually want Germany to do that as quickly as possible. Again, we're not playing with what is autarky? Oh, okay. We're not playing with historical focuses on, so you know, AI could do really weird things. They could be really slow to start some wars, and therefore world tension will stay quite low. Or they might start some shit earlier than expected, which could throw our plans into a bit of confusion. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to do claims on Yugoslavia ASAP. So again, the thing to do would be to go down the economy tree. I mean, the 4 free civilian factories, 4 free military factories, an extra research slot. How could we possibly ignore this at the start of the game? Well, the reason is anything I do that might generate world tension, I want to do it as early as possible so it can start ticking down as quickly as possible. So I have to put down my claims on Yugoslavia over here. I don't think we're going to end up with any stack wipes. Maybe, okay, Bilboa finally went, which means these guys are finally going to go. Let me just put up a little battle plan there. I don't necessarily need to activate it. We don't have the org right now anyway, but we did that. I'm betting that's going to be enough to guarantee that Nationalist Spain wins. Might be a long war. Had one that lasted into 39, I think, once. I don't know. So we're still waiting for September. Nothing has changed here. Yeah, 22nd of September is still going to be there. Here, you guys can go and maybe help out. Oh, there we are. These guys have no supply and everything. They're just going to be stack wiped. That's going to be fine. I mean, the next thing I would like to do is, like, I could help out Barcelona, or maybe just help out by holding Tortosa. Might not be a terrible idea. All right. Basic machine tools are done, which means we can get the next level of industry. Now, here's the thing. Dispersed industry, I've really come to love. So what's the difference between the two? Well, at a glance, The basic difference between these two is that consecrated gets an... Consecrated? Yes, it's these are the religious industries. Gets 15% factory output instead of 10% factory output. The thing is, the fact that dispersed industry has the greater production efficiency base and retention is kind of stupendous and really good. And even if you're not worried about being bombed, dispersed industry may be worthwhile. The thing is, for us, we have crap production efficiency. If we take a look at our production over here, on this side. So normally, nations have a cap of production efficiency of 50%. Which means, so your factories produce goods like infantry equipment at a certain rate. But the longer they produce the good, the more efficient they become at it. And so let's say you got to 50% production efficiency, your factories are producing those goods 50% faster. It's substantial. But because of our elite difficulty, it lowers it by 30%, so we're only getting a 20% boost. So our production efficiency is not as impressive because of this really low cap. Now, assuming I'm reading this right, and I'm not guaranteeing you that I am, to me, this says production efficiency base. To me, that says we will start with 5% production efficiency. It doesn't, to me, this doesn't seem like it would change the cap, and I may be wrong. And if I am wrong, then this first industry would probably be the best pick for us. Because I really like the retention as well. But I don't know. I'm just going to go concentrated. Because it's fine. It gives you the higher production. And it doesn't care about the cap so much. Anyway, that got wrapped up, which is nice. I guess what I'll do is I don't know, form up here and sort of do something like that. We'll stick around and maybe help out for now. And we can get more army experience out of it, which is fine. Oh, we are capped on command power. Do I want to do anything with it? You don't have a promotion. You don't have a promotion. Neither do you, or you, or you. It'd be nice if there was like a list somewhere that you can go to see all your generals with promotions available. I don't think there's... Is there anything else I can do with command power? I kind of wish you could hire more generals with command power instead of political power, but no. Coming up on 150. 150 is likely... The first thing I'd like to do is probably get my war economy going. So good. But if we're going to go communist, and I think I'm going to do it, again, I don't know that going communist is the power move, but it's what we're going to do because I think it's going to be interesting. So we're going to have to get the communist revolutionary as one of our first things in here. But yeah, we can take a look at world tension. So these things should continue to drop at 0.1% per month. World tension already dropped from 10, I think, when the Rhineland got done, to 9%, although it's going to go up again as soon as we finish the claims on Yugoslavia. And yeah, I'm going to go and become communist revolutionary. For the people! There we go. We can assist over here, or maybe we won't. Maybe I'm good and done with our work over here. Leadership purges in the Soviet Union. Maybe I could just hang back, preserve my equipment. You know what? Let's do it. I'm actually going to hit stop. I'm going to remove your front line, and I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to give you a garrison order, because we might not be able to just leave combat, depending on how things... Yeah, see, I can't right-click over here. So anyway, they'll just go over there. Claims in Yugoslavia is done, increasing world tension. Yes to Albania occupation. So, yes, probably. I gotta put a cut in this video. It's too long. And I'll actually rethink that. If I recall correctly, with Albanian occupation, just running this doesn't increase world tension. What'll happen is this will generate, and I did look at the event files for this, although I'm gonna have to remind myself. This will generate an event for Albania, where they will be told to join Italy or else. They can say yes or they can say no. Now, by default, they're very likely to say yes. If I recall correctly, a fairly high percentage of the time, they should just say yes and not fight back. If they get guaranteed by a nation, and this, and if they say no, then I get a war goal against them, and I can go to war. Which means technically running this policy counts as sort of justifying a war against them, which means that if the world tension hit 25%, a great power could go and guarantee them. And if they're being guaranteed, then they will say no to me. I would like them to not say no. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do this again as early as possible to try to make it so they can't say no to me. Or they're unlikely to say no to me. And also, and I think if they say yes, I think we get 3% world tension, I want to say. I'll have to double check the events for that. But, again, I want to do it as early as possible so it counts down. Because what we need to do, what we're aiming for, is we would like to finish the war with Austria, peace out with them, still have world tension be below 25%, so that we can start a war against Yugoslavia / Czechoslovakia without any of the great powers intervening. This may or may not work out. There's just a big random element in terms of what the rest of the world does. Anyway, on that note, we're going to go ahead and put a cut in this video. And we are a month and a few days, because I think it's, what, 22nd of September? Away from starting the war against Austria, which should be fairly easy, mountains aside, and the fact that we're going to be fighting partially in the winter. We've got a good number of dudes here. I never did start training more troops, which is a mistake, because I definitely want to do that. In particular, I want to train up to 9 divisions. Lowest priority, and I don't really need to do both, but I really always want to make sure that the new stuff goes to my stuff in the field as much as possible. I'm going to start 9 divisions of infantry over here. The reason is that that'll bring us exactly 48, which is exactly 2 perfect armies, which may not matter too much, but I kind of like that as, you know, an arbitrary number. Sure, we'll do this. So yeah, we could have had these 2 infantry divisions trained up probably in time for the Austrian War. I may still go and pop them out. They'll be a little bit green, but I may do that anyway to get them there. They're going to be slightly short on something, support equipment over here, but that's going to be okay. Meanwhile, our civilian factories are getting there. When this one gets done, we'll have a full 15. When this one gets done, we'll have 16. So it's going to start building this and then prompt me to add a little bit more production somewhere in there. I really feel like we may need a few more civilian factories. Maybe I won't max out Abruzzo. Maybe I'll just get a couple going in there. And then what we'll probably do is start working on our military factories. Anyway, we're going to put a cut in here, folks. Thanks for watching. I'm going to see you guys next time. Bye-bye.